Have you ever been in a room where everything stopped and every eye turned toward you, not because of what you were wearing or because you said something clever, but because of who you are, because something in your presence demanded acknowledgement? Most people have never felt that. Not truly. But what Archangel Michael is about to tell you is that there was a moment, a specific real moment, where exactly that happened, except the room was not a room, it was heaven. And the one who stood first was not a person. And what caused the standing was not a performance or an achievement, it was you, simply, completely, exactly as you are. After everything you have been through, stay right here. Because the full story of what happened in heaven on your behalf is what this message is going to tell you. And it is going to reach a part of you that has been waiting a very long time to receive it. Something was witnessed in heaven that produced a response heaven does not give casually. A response reserved for moments of such specific and profound significance that the ordinary rhythms of heaven pause to acknowledge them. And the moment that produced this response was not a grand public act. It was not a visible triumph that the world could see and measure. It was something private, something interior, something that happened in the quiet of your own life when you made a choice that cost you something real and chose faithfulness anyway. And heaven saw it. And heaven responded to it in a way that Archangel Michael says must be delivered to you directly, because you need to know what was witnessed, and you need to know what it means for what is coming. Do not scroll, do not skip. Stay until the very end, because what heaven saw in you and what it released in response is the specific word your spirit has needed through this entire season. I want to start by telling you something honest, something that the encouraging content you have consumed through this season has sometimes glossed over in the rush to get to the good news. What you have been through has been genuinely hard. Not hard in the sense that all of life is challenging and growth requires discomfort. Hard in the specific sense that the weight you have been carrying has been heavier than what most people around you could see, heavier than what you have been able to fully articulate, the kind of hard that does not announce itself loudly because you have been too busy managing it to have the energy to explain it, the kind that lives in the body as a specific tension, that shows up in the small hours as a quiet dread, that makes ordinary moments occasionally feel impossibly heavy because the background weight never fully lifts. That weight is real, and heaven has not been unaware of it. Every day you have carried it and still chosen to keep moving, still chosen to extend kindness when you were running low on resources, still chosen to trust when trust felt like the most expensive thing available to you. Heaven was watching, not from a distance, with the specific quality of attention that a parent gives to a child they love who is going through something difficult, present, invested, feeling the weight of it with you, even when you felt most alone in it. And in the middle of that watching, something specific happened, a moment that Archangel Michael identifies as the one, the moment where what you chose revealed something about who you are at the deepest level that moved heaven in a way that produced the response this message is about. Stay with me. Do not move. The description of what heaven witnessed is still coming. Do not skip. There are moments in a person's life that are defining not because of their size, but because of what they reveal about character. A moment where the easy choice and the right choice are not the same choice, where the self-protective choice and the faithful choice point in different directions, where what you want to do and what you know you should do are in genuine tension, and the resolution of that tension is not obvious and not comfortable and costs something real regardless of which way it goes. You had a moment like that. Perhaps more than one in this season, but there is a specific one that heaven is speaking about. A moment where the faithful choice required something from you that you were not sure you had left to give, where the right thing to do was also the harder thing to do, and no one would have blamed you for choosing differently, where the temptation toward the self-protective option was not a small temptation. It was reasonable, understandable, arguably justified by everything you had already been through, and you chose faithfulness. Not triumphantly, not with the confidence of someone who was certain of the outcome, maybe with tears, maybe with the specific exhaustion of someone who is giving from empty, maybe with a prayer that was more honest about your depletion than your certainty. But you chose it. You did the faithful thing when the easier thing was available. You gave when giving cost you. You stayed when leaving was justified. You extended something from yourself when what you had left was genuinely thin, and heaven saw that choice at its full weight. Not just what you did, but what it cost you to do it. Not just the action, but the interior struggle that preceded it, and the genuine depletion from which it was offered. And heaven stood, because a person who gives from empty, who chooses faithfulness when faithfulness has a real price tag, who extends genuine care from a place of genuine exhaustion, is demonstrating something that heaven recognizes as one of the most significant expressions of the character of God available in human experience. You did not do it for an audience. You did not do it for an argument. You did not even do it with full awareness of what it was costing you in the moment. You did it because it was who you are. Because at the deepest level of your character, faithfulness is not a performance, it is a nature. And natures reveal themselves most clearly when they are operating under pressure, without an audience, at significant personal cost. That revelation of your nature is what produced the standing ovation. And Archangel Michael says it must be delivered to you because you deserve to know that what you gave in that moment was seen, that the cost of it was registered, that heaven did not receive your faithfulness as a small thing. Heaven received it as an extraordinary thing, as the kind of thing that moves the realm of eternity to pause and acknowledge a human being with the full weight of its recognition. To receive what is being released over your life right now, go to the comments and type "Heaven sees me." Let that declaration be the agreement between your spirit and what Archangel Michael is confirming. Do it now and then stay with me. What the standing ovation means for your life going forward is still being revealed. I want to talk about what a standing ovation from heaven actually releases into a person's life, because this is not only a beautiful acknowledgement of what you did, it is a functional spiritual event that has practical consequences in your circumstances. When heaven stands for a person, when that level of recognition is given, it releases specific things into that person's life that were being held in reserve for exactly this kind of moment. The first thing released is divine acceleration. Heaven does not stand for a person and then leave their circumstances unchanged. The acknowledgement is followed by an investment, a specific heavenly investment in the movement of your situation that compresses timelines and opens doors and resolves things that have been at an impasse in ways that do not follow the expected pace of natural progression. Things that were moving slowly begin to move quickly. Things that were stuck begin to resolve. Things that seemed years away begin to arrive in a timeline that can only be explained by the intervention of something that does not operate on natural time. This acceleration is already beginning, not as a future promise, as a present reality. The investment of heaven in your specific situation has already been made, and its effects are already moving through your circumstances in ways that will become visible in a timeline that is going to surprise you. What you have been waiting for is not as far as the waiting suggested. The waiting suggested one timeline. Heaven's investment in response to what it witnessed is operating on a different one. The second thing released is a specific and sustained peace, the kind that Paul described as surpassing understanding, not the peace of circumstances having resolved, not the peace of knowing how everything is going to work out, the deeper peace of knowing that what happened in heaven on your behalf has sealed something in the spiritual realm that affects your natural situation, regardless of whether the natural evidence has caught up yet. A peace that is rooted not in what you can see but in what heaven confirmed. And what heaven confirmed is significant enough that the peace rooted in it is not easily shaken. You are going to feel this shift in the coming days, a settling that arrives without a clear natural explanation. A lightness in the weight you have been carrying that is not because the circumstances have fully changed, but because something in the spiritual atmosphere around your life has changed. The same situation will feel different, not because your perception is being manipulated, because the spiritual reality of your situation has genuinely shifted, and spiritual shifts precede natural ones. What you feel before you see it is the early evidence of what is coming. The third thing released is an expansion of what is being trusted to you. A standing ovation from heaven is not only acknowledgement of what you demonstrated, it is a declaration of what you have been deemed capable of carrying going forward. Heaven does not stand for a person because of what they did in the past, and then leave them at the level they were at. The acknowledgement comes with an elevation, with an expansion of the assignment, with a widening of the scope of what heaven is going to work through your life. The things you have been faithful with in small ways are about to be replicated in larger ways. The character you demonstrated in the private moment that moved heaven is the same character that is now going to be operating in a much larger field. The compassion you showed when you were running low is the same compassion that is going to reach people you have not yet met, in places you have not yet been in, ways that would not have been possible without the depth that the hard season built in you. This expansion is not something you have to earn from this point. It was released in the moment heaven stood. It is already yours. Your assignment is simply to receive it, to stop assessing yourself against the level you were at before the standing, and to begin positioning yourself for the level that the standing declared you ready for. Do not scroll. The most important word of this message is still coming. Stay until the very end. I want to speak to the specific quality of the recognition that heaven gave you, because there is a difference between being acknowledged and being truly seen, between receiving a compliment and receiving a recognition that reaches all the way to the actual thing it is responding to. And what heaven gave you was the second kind, complete, informed, reaching to the actual depth of what you did and what it cost and who you demonstrated yourself to be in the doing of it. Many of the recognitions you have received in your life have been incomplete, from people who saw part of what you were doing but not all of it, who appreciated the visible portion of your contribution but did not have access to the invisible cost of it, who acknowledged the outcome without understanding the interior process that produced it. That incomplete recognition, however genuine, leaves something unmet, a specific need to be truly seen, seen all the way down, seen in the private struggle and the genuine exhaustion and the real cost and the specific quality of the character that chose faithfulness anyway. Heaven sees all the way down. Heaven's recognition does not work from the surface in. It works from the deepest level of the actual truth of who you are. And what heaven saw all the way down in you produced not a polite acknowledgement, but a standing ovation. Not a note in a record, but a pause in the rhythms of eternity, to give full recognition to a person whose character moved the realm of heaven to respond. That is what you received, and you need to receive it fully. Not dismiss it as hyperbole or as motivational language designed to make you feel better. Receive it as the specific and literal truth that Archangel Michael is delivering. What happened in heaven was real. What was witnessed in you was real. And the response was proportional to the reality of what was witnessed. Now I want to talk about what this means for how you see yourself going forward. Because one of the specific damages that a long, hard season does to a person is to their self-perception. The grinding quality of sustained difficulty has a way of wearing down the accuracy of how you see yourself, of emphasizing the moments of failure and the moments of doubt and the moments when you did not show up as fully as you wish you had, and de-emphasizing or entirely erasing from conscious memory the moments of extraordinary faithfulness and genuine sacrifice and costly love that were also present in the same season. You have been assessing yourself through a lens that captured some of the truth and missed the most important parts of it. The lens of your own self-critical perception has been focused on your insufficiencies, while heaven's lens has been focused on your faithfulness, and the gap between those two assessments is enormous. You have been concluding from your own assessment that you are someone whose faith is mediocre, whose contribution is ordinary, whose presence in the world is appreciated but not extraordinary. Heaven's assessment, based on full information, produced a standing ovation. Whose assessment do you want to build the next chapter of your life on? The incomplete self-critical one that emphasizes your moments of insufficiency, or the complete and fully informed one that moved heaven to pause and stand? This is not a suggestion to become arrogant or to stop growing, or to treat the acknowledgement as permission to stop trying. It is a suggestion to begin relating to yourself with an accuracy that matches heaven's accuracy, to carry the knowledge of what heaven witnessed as a genuine and reliable piece of information about who you actually are at the deepest level, to let that knowledge inform how you present yourself in rooms and conversations and opportunities, to let it give you the confidence to occupy the expanded assignment that the standing ovation released without the apology and the self-minimization that the incorrect self-assessment has been producing. You are someone heaven stood for. Let that be true. Let it be as true as it is. Let it inform everything. I want to address one more thing before the final word. The people in your life who did not stand, the ones who were present through parts of this season and did not recognize what heaven recognized, who did not see what heaven saw, who assessed you through the limited lens of your circumstances rather than through the full lens of your character, who may have even added to the weight of the season through doubt or criticism or the specific kind of absence that was more painful than outright opposition. Heaven's standing is not diminished by their sitting. The recognition of eternity is not conditioned on the recognition of people who had incomplete information and limited perspective. What heaven witnessed and responded to is true independent of whether anyone in your natural life was positioned to see it, and the people who did not see it are not enemies. They are simply people whose perception was limited by what they had access to. Heaven had access to everything, and everything is what produced the standing. Do not carry resentment toward the ones who missed it. Carry the knowledge of what heaven saw, and let that knowledge be sufficient, because it is. The standing ovation of heaven is sufficient validation for any life. It does not need to be supplemented by the recognition of people who could not see what was happening. Let the resentment go. Keep the recognition. Build on it. Share this message with someone who has been giving everything they have in a season where no one seems to be noticing. Someone who has been faithful in private and empty and unremarked upon, and who needs to know that the private and the empty and the unremarked are the very things that heaven watches most closely. Someone who needs to hear that their faithfulness in the quiet was seen by a realm that does not miss the things that human eyes overlook. When you carry this word for others, Archangel Michael carries your breakthrough forward. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another word released through this space for your season. Heaven is speaking with specificity and consistency, and you want to be in position to receive every word that carries your name. My beloved child, you stayed until the end. Through this entire message you stayed, and in staying you received something that the hard season could not give you, not because it was not true during the hard season. It was, but because the noise and the weight of the hard season made it impossible for this level of clarity to land. Today it landed. Today you received the view from heaven on your own life, the view that sees all the way down, that sees the private moments and the costly choices and the faithful heart that kept orienting toward God, even when God felt far away. And what that view saw moved heaven to pause, to stand, to give the full weight of its recognition to a person whose character demonstrated something extraordinary in circumstances that would have justified something less. That person is you, not the idealized version, not the version without the doubt and the exhaustion and the moments of near failure, the actual version, the one who came through everything this season, contained with faithfulness still intact, and love still functioning, and trust still oriented toward the God who was watching every moment of it. Heaven paused for you, heaven stood for you, and the universe that God holds in his hands held still for a moment, so that the full weight of heaven's recognition could be given to someone who deserved to receive it. You deserved to receive it. You still do. And now you know. Walk forward from this moment, knowing what heaven knows about you, with the confidence of someone whose character has been assessed by a realm that does not miss anything, and whose assessment was a standing ovation, with the peace of someone whose situation has received the specific investment of heaven in response to what was witnessed, with the expanded vision of someone whose assignment just grew in proportion to the recognition that was given. The hard season produced something extraordinary. Heaven confirmed it, and the next season is going to express it in ways that make every day of the waiting make complete and permanent sense. Walk into it. You were made for this moment, and heaven already knows exactly how this chapter ends. Thumbnail: Heaven stood up for you.